President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Senate seeking an audience with the Joint Section of National Assembly for presentation of 2017 budget proposal on 14 of December 2016. Senate President Bukola Saraki read the executive communication from President Buhari at Tuesday plenary. President Buhari explained that the Joint Section was needed to officially brief the federal lawmaker on the 2017 budget proposal and plan to get the country out of recession.
I crave the kind indulgence of the National Assembly to grant me the slot of 10:00 hours on Wednesday, the 14th of December 2016, to formally address a joint session of the National Assembly on the 2017 budget proposal and our plans to get the country out of recession. Please extend, Mr. Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards to the distinguished senators as I look forward to addressing the joint session. Signed, Muhammadu Buhari.
The President is expected to address the National Assembly on Wednesday, December 14. The President budget presentation will follow the approval of the medium-term expenditure framework for 2016 to 2018 by the two chambers of the Federal Legislature. It will recall that the Senate President Bukola Saraki had promised an earlier passage of the budget. From National Assembly, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting. Senate President Bukola Saraki has said that 8th Senate will ensure that all sectors of the economy are revamped. Saraki disclosed this when he declared open Joint Committee public hearing on land transport, marine and aviation in Abuja. He said this will create an enabling environment for the investors and increase confidence of major players in the economy. The Senate President, represented by the Senate leader Ali Ndume, declared open the public hearing. The Senate President assured stakeholders that adequate legislative framework will help to drive the transportation sector.
The main responsibilities of the economic regulator in the industry will be to play the lead role in protecting consumer protection, drive reform in the regulatory environment, and ensure services are fairly priced, safe, reliable, and affordable. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian transport sector has been yearning for this reform. For far too long, there has not been any meaningful reform in the sector, which is known worldwide as the arterial lifeline on which the economy must run. The state of the transport sector has been one characterized by lack of regulation, lack of coordination, and policy incoherence. Because of the importance of the 8th Senate attaches to infrastructural renewal, modernization, deployment, and development, this bill was among the front-line bills proposed at the recently concluded National Assembly Business Environment Roundtable and was earmarked as one of the bills that has the potential to immensely contribute to the ease of doing business in the country.
While the Joint Senate Committee on Land Transport, Marine Transport and Aviation is mindful of some level of dissatisfaction with some of the provisions of the bill, we are seeking to generate germane and contemporary information that will enhance and guide our legislative actions. We earnestly hope that at the end of this process, our committee's report will culminate in an act that will not only be acceptable to all and sundry within and outside the transport industry, but also constitute a qualitative document capable of setting the transport sector on the path of positive development.
On his part, Minister of Transport Rotimi Amishi wanted the Senate to empower existing agency rather than create new one.
At one time, there was a bill before the National Assembly which saw the transportation of NSC into the National Transport Commission to make it perform the functions of economic official. That bill had passed first reading, but further action on its third when the Assembly became functions official by virtue of the expiration of its mandate. Therefore, for the National Assembly to proceed with the steady process of the National Transport Commission bill to create an entirely new agency to perform the functions of an already existing one will amount to duplication of functions, roles and multiplicity of agencies, waste of resources taking into consideration decline in national revenue associated prices, departure against the current federal government policy of streamlining its agencies to efficiency and cost effectiveness. It is therefore more economical and prudent to transform the Nigerian Shippers Council into the proposed National Transport Commission in order to enable it to assume the role of a full economic regulator in the transport sector. Distinguished chairmen and senators, indeed there are many advantages for the option of transforming the NSC into the NTC. These include cost saving and availability, avoidance of duplication of agencies, utilizing operational experience, utilizing the experience of carrying out certain elements of economic function, easier adaptability or compatibility of the NSC. I am convinced, as I believe you all are, that when passing to law, the transport subsector of road, rail, and marine will be improved as the NTCB will introduce synergy and intermodalism in the transport sector that has in the past operated in a haphazard and uncoordinated manner.
Here will be more advisory, more cautionary, and demanding of perhaps some more introspection in ultimately making a decision. And I say this first by inviting us to go back to the traditional structure of government, which has been that government over the ages have functioned through ministries. I think perhaps in the last century, and perhaps more recently in the last 5 to 6 decades, have governments begun to see the limitation of implementation of policies. And therefore, they have created more agencies, smaller shops, nimble, efficient executive management to implement government policy.
At the end, the committee chairman maintained that the technical committee will be set up to provide more professional advice on the way forward. Muyiwa Bamdele reporting from Abuja.
Hi, Mike.
Babe, it's been over 12 hours. Are you done thinking about it? Is he SCS?
Convince me.
I know how much confidence I'll mean to you. Let me take you somewhere.
What's that?
A superior leading international hospitality chain in the heart of Africa.
And?
They offer very distinct services. Their meeting halls and all their hotels offer conference solutions that can help plan a perfect function for any occasion. They feature outdoor catering and provide services for any size event.
Keep going. You got me thinking now.
The beauty, the decor, and the views. It's the hotel experience you always dreamed of. They have up-to-date entertainment and a variety served at the fast food restaurant and snack bar. Oh, and don't even get me started on the garden bar or the nightclub. You would have everything you need within your reach without having to go out.
Wow. So what if I want to...
Cook? They got you, babe. The rooms are thoughtfully furnished with facilities that aid proper cooking, just like you would at home.
Where is this place?
And it's sweets.
Wow.
So, will you marry me?
Yes. How can I refuse?
Not at Sweets, a colorful affair.
As part of efforts to make sure that the capital project captured in the 2016 budget does not suffer any setback, even as the year winds down, the federal government, through the Ministry of Finance, has appointed transaction parties for the issuance of €1 billion bond, which will commence in January 2017. Speaking to State House Correspondent after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja, Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun, while disclosing the names of the transaction parties, said the companies were carefully selected after a competitive tender process by the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP.
My memo, which was approved by Council, was for the appointment of transaction parties for the $1 billion Eurobond issue. And those transaction parties were Citigroup, Standard Chartered Bank, Stanbic IBTC, White and Case, Banwo Nigudalo, and Africa Practice as communications advisors. The €1 billion Eurobond programme is part of the funding for the 2016 budget, and we hope to be able to commence that process in January. We obtained a certificate of no objection from BPP for the appointment of those parties, having undertaken a fully competitive open tender process. So we're expecting to get quite a competitive pricing on the issuance programme, which, as I said, is to be used for the purposes of funding capital projects as part of the 2016 budget within the month of January. The other thing to note is that these parties that have been appointed will run our any Eurobond issuance programme that we do for the next 3 years, so that we don't have to keep on retendering. Unless there's a major problem with any of them, they'll be our parties for the next 3 years.
The memo to finalize the amendments to the Gazette on the establishment of the hydrocarbon pollution restoration project in the Niger Delta region also made it to council, as explained by the Minister of Environment, Amina Mohammed, who expatiated that this memo will make it easier for government to carry out the cleaning of the Niger Delta region, which has been bedeviled over the years by pollution.
The memo I took to Council today was to finalize the amendment to the Gazette of the establishment of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Restoration Project, which is HYPREP, the vehicle that is supposed to house all the governance structures to allow us to do the cleanup in the Niger Delta, beginning with Ogoniland and the implementation of the UNEP report. Why is this so important? Well, what we have said is, in the past Gazette did not put in place some of the governing structures that we need, like the governing board, like the board of trustees, or a structure there that would be held accountable for the enormous amount of money that is already available to spend, but additional monies that we can leverage from the money that we have that is being offered by different partners to come into cleaning up and then dealing with the livelihoods after. This now will enable us put more structure to the Board of Trustees, who require a legal entity to put the resources in, and then we hope that in the new year we'll begin to roll out, to begin with, the building of the Center of Excellence. The Integrated Soil Treatment Center will also go up, and then we begin training, but in this case we will start training with many of the women on the livelihood side in many of the contaminated areas. Of recent, you would have heard that in Ogoniland itself, we had pipelines that were blown up. I visited there. Those that were most affected by them were the women farmers. And so we have to find better ways of speaking with communities, but also ensuring that livelihoods of women are not affected. We are also speaking to many of the young people there, and we've had some good feedback from those who are interested in being part of the rollout of the cleanup of the Ogoniland in the new year.
It will be recalled that the cleanup of Ogoni oil spillage has been a major concern of the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroga Nefifen for Ben Television.
A non-governmental organization, Young Africa Empowerment and Development Initiative, YADI, have called for introduction of hydroponic technology farming system into the nation's agricultural sector as part of effort to ease the crisis between herdsmen and farmers. President YADI, Antonia Obiora, who made the call at a one-day tech farmers hub training in Abuja, said with the new innovation, people will be attracted to go into farming, which will help reduce the high rate of unemployment and poverty in the country.
Nigeria is really backwards in agriculture, especially sustainable agriculture. Now we all know the effect of climate change is really hitting agriculture because our food supply system in this country is having challenges due to this same climate change. But with hydroponic farming system, you can actually farm 365 days round the clock, which is what Nigeria needs at this time. Even if we're facing recession and all of it, at least we should feed and stay alive. Agriculture is no more the dirty business. because hydroponic system is a soilless farming system that is actually without soil. So even wearing your very clean clothes and looking all posh, you can still be a farmer.
Director Training, National Directorate of Employment, Lawan Ali, and other speakers in a separate remarks emphasized the need for Nigerians to take the business of agriculture seriously, which they say will help the nation come out of the current economic recession.
Then we have the Rural Employment Promotion Department, which is the agricultural department. What we do in that department is we teach our young ones the traditional agriculture. So when I received this letter for this event, I saw Tech Farmers Hub. I said, these people are thinking the way NDE is thinking, in the sense that even though we did not put traditional farming to the background, but we have something in NDE which we call smart farmer.
Youths out there should not go home and sit in their various houses. Come out, come and learn these skills. I said it, that it is not, everything is not all about money. Go and get this skill, and people are here to give out this skill. Organization like Smedan is here to support. We've done it with ITF, we train people on a program called NEDEP. We can still do it with hydroponic.
Agriculture remains one of the key focus in this administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari as he plans to move the nation from a mono economy to a diversified economy. From Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.